In this video, we'll check if Cin successfully placed a value into a variable. In this case, the variable is an integer. This is a continuation of the previous program that we wrote just before this. We explained what happens when Cin fails to put a string value, for example, into an integer data type. So in this program, we want to sort of evolve the program such that it validates the user entry before going any further. So a few things that will be just taken out, a few things that we used in the previous program that we don't really need in this video. So yeah. So what we want to do is check if Cin has successfully placed a value into its variable. So I might change this part here with this line, so it becomes sort of a check. So if Cin was successful, it'll be true. It has successfully placed the value in the variable. But if this is false, then we know that something went wrong. So if we say not true means false, in this case we know that something has gone wrong. So we can do sort of wrong entry, sort of a message. Wrong entry. We can give the user this message, and that's it. And then else we can sort of display the number if we wanted to. Now, just to kind of remove things that will distract us, I will get rid of this part where we are checking, or actually what we can do is in the else state we can do this. So I'll get rid of that. In the else state, and we're not really checking if it's an empty array anymore. Oh, sorry, I think I deleted more than I should. In the else state, we will consume that new line. Yeah, let's consume the new line. And I'll just get rid of that. Okay, so this is the arrow for that. I hope that didn't get you confused. So we're saying if something went wrong, tell the user it's a wrong entry. Otherwise, go on with whatever the program wanted to do. Let's run this. And in this case, if I say 3, we get the message wrong entry. But if we say 2, then the program works as expected. All right, so now what we want to do is we want to update our program such that it does this part. So keep looping until the user enters a number. So let's take that comment and put it up here. Now to change this to a loop, we'll just say while. Now when we say while, it means it won't come out of here until the user puts in the right number. So in that case, we don't really need the else state, because it won't come here if it hasn't made sure that the user enters a number. So now we can unindent and return back to that level. We don't need the else because it's not going to come out until this becomes true. How do we get it to become true? Well, first thing we need to do is to actually clear the state, the error state of Cin. And to do that, we'll say cin.clear. Sorry about that. Yeah. And then what we want to do is we want to ignore the amount of characters that we specify until the user, or until we reach that breakpoint that we are specifying. And so to do that, we sort of do something similar to what we did here, where we've consumed a new line using the .ignore part. But the difference is that we don't only want to ignore the new line, we also want to ignore the characters that are sitting there in the buffer. So what we're saying is ignore the amount of characters you specify. So I'm saying 100 because I'm not thinking the user would type in more than 100 characters. But if you think there could be a possibility, then change this to, maybe 1,000 or whatever you'd like, depending on your program, until we reach that breakpoint. In this case, I'm specifying that breakpoint to be a new line. to be able to actually come out of this, we need to change the value of cn. So that needs to be updated. In this case, we want to give the user another chance to sort of enter another number, but we want to let them know what the problem was. So we can say must be a number entry re-enter. Yeah, I think that's enough. So let's get rid of that line and let's run this. So let's compile and run. All right, and let me. So if I say 3, it says it must be a number entry, re-enter. So if I say that I said 3, because I've got less than 100 characters, it's okay. So I can go on with up to 100. I insist on entering a string of 3. Re-enter until I say 2, and then the program then works as expected. I hope this video helps you in validating user entry before doing any further checks, and I'll see you in future ones. Thank you so much.